Hey guys, what is up? AwesomeTheSauce here, and welcome to another Theory Thursday video where we are going to talk about the future of the spiral. But this episode is very interesting, and that's because we actually have leaks from Kingsisle themselves. Empyrea Part 2. What do we know about it? That's a real question that you should be asking right now, because I'm not gonna lie, the plot's a little bit juicy. I haven't made that many videos on it, and that's because personally I haven't actually quested all the way through it yet. I'm still working on it. Make sure to catch some live streams where I will be doing that very soon in preparation for Empyrea Part 2. But there are a lot of elements here that we need to talk about before we even focus on Empyrea 2. But, you know, what we do know about Empyrea Part 2 is that, one, Part 2 is the last part of Arc 3. It's very important. It's a finale for Arc 3. So whatever this little segment is, it started off with Bartleby getting sick, and we find out about Spider spreading chaos. That little segment is going to end this coming November, hopefully. I think it's this November that's, like, you know, when the actual, the actual thing is going to happen. So we're actually going to get a finale. So that's one thing. That's been confirmed by Kingsisle in a newsletter. They said that this coming up is ending off the arc. It's ending off the arc. So we know that there has to be some sense of finale to it. But that's pretty much all we really knew. Now, when we're talking about Empyrea Part 2, let's talk about Empyrea Part 1, the finale. What we learned, spoilers, by the way, for anyone who hasn't done Empyrea Part 1, because even I had to look this up because I was just very curious. Basically, what happens at the end of Empyrea Part 1 is that in an unrelated plot, pretty much, where Medulla's, using Mallory as an energy source for his evil plans, we actually end up saving Mallory with the help of the Bat, which is one of Grandfather Spider's children. And what ends up happening is that Mallory crosses through into the astral plane where Grandmother Raven is waiting for her, and we cross over because we're from Earth, and only people that aren't of the spiral can go into the astral plane. Basically, what we overhear is the following.
Your old life is over. Now it is time for you to realize your destiny.
Cool?
I refuse to let this feud between Spider and me wreak pain and misery upon the spiral any longer. This ends now.
Yes! Now we're cooking with fire, Mama. I'm sick and tired of seeing good people being hurt by Spider and his shadow brats.
Agreed. Spider and his wicked progeny must be eradicated.
Oh, well, don't you think that's kind of harsh? I mean, isn't Spider, like, integral to the spiral's existence or something?
He's essential. The spiral cannot exist without Spider's darkness and chaos. This unfortunate truth is why the spiral can never know peace. But you need no longer concern yourself with such things, my darling. Soon there will just be you and I. The days of the spiral are over.
So basically what you can definitely get out of this, is that at the end of the day, my guy, it's pretty much over for the spiral if Grandmother Raven gets her way. Why is Grandmother Raven suddenly turning evil? Now, it's not really as simple as good and evil as much as it is about balance and order in the spiral. Now, in order to understand where Raven is coming from and theorize about exactly what we're about to theorize about, the fun part hasn't even happened yet, by the way. We haven't even talked about the leaks yet. But before all of that even, we have to understand what Grandmother Raven wants. Grandmother Raven is the opposite counterpart of Grandfather Spider. So if Spider stands for chaos, then I would say that Raven stands for order. And it makes sense because Bartleby seems to be the neutral one, and as a tree, I would say that he symbolizes change. Now, one thing to note about these guys is that they don't really fight for themselves. They fight through others. Grandfather Spider had his children that we ended up fighting. The rat, I don't know if he's dead. Scorpion's definitely dead. The bat's not even on his side anymore. Mallory is fighting for Raven. So she has a child. Basically, like, Mallory is her avatar, kind of. And we don't really know about Bartleby. I would say that Bartleby is either using Merle or maybe even us. We don't really know. I would definitely stick with the Merle thing because it seems like they have some kind of connection, We don't really know much about Merle's past, but there's a very there's a very large possibility that Merle is actually made like a child of Bartleby. We really don't know, you know, but that's, you know, that's a theory for another day. Now, let's get to the leaks, right? So they decided, you know, during the interview with MMORPG, Kingsisle decided to leak something using a game of 2 lies and a truth. Now, if you guys know the original game, 2 truths and a lie, basically how the game works, you say 2 truths and a lie, and the person, you know, has to guess which statement is a lie. But instead, they did 2 lies and a truth. Now, what is this statement, you are asking? Well, basically the statement was, this is from a Kingsisle employee, so we're going to take it at face value. In Empyrea Part 2, you fight Old Cobb, you fight Grandmother Raven, or you fight Merle Ambrose. Now, one of those is the truth, and the other 2 is a lie. So that's what we're theorizing about today, my mans. Now, let's get right into it, alright? I honestly think that if Grandmother Raven is trying to destroy the spiral, right? If she's trying to destroy the spiral, that's basically her goal. You guys saw the dialogue. She's had it with Old Cobb. Old Cobb is the essence with which the spiral is made. Like, literally, his chaos heart, like, if you guys are following the storyline, the spiral was made using Grandfather Spider's chaos heart. So if Old Cobb dies, not locked away, if he dies, as Grandmother Raven wants to, the spiral doesn't exist anymore, and that's what Raven wants. So basically, right, I really don't think that with this information, we're going to be fighting Old Cobb. Another reason I say this is because Old Cobb has actually helped us in the past defeat Morganth, if you guys didn't know. And honestly, he's actually not doing anything that's unjustified. I've made videos like this before, but I think the more and more, me personally, I actually don't view him as an evil villain. I don't even think he has an evil perspective on the spiral. He's just doing what he's meant to do. Alright, if Raven was freed in Grizzleheim, then Cobb has to be freed. There's a reason they're both locked away. Either they're both locked away, or they're both free to do what they want. So I think as a knowledgeable wizard, you know, like, in the whole scheme of things, I don't think our wizard is gonna fight Old Cobb. I just don't think it makes sense. If anybody needs help right now, he doesn't have any of his children left. Alright, we already defeated the rat. We already defeated the Scorpion. Scorpion is dead, literally. Like, he's actually dead. The rat, I don't know. I mean, he's, if anything, you got hurt, at least. I don't know if he's dead, but you got hurt. The bat's not even on his side, you know? So, like, what I'm really trying to say is, I think Grandfather Spider right now needs a hero for him. And for the spiral itself. I think we'll be fighting on the spider's side. Now, here's one thing that I mentioned earlier, right? Is that it doesn't really seem like these big beings, like Bartleby, like Raven, like any of them, it doesn't really seem like they fight them, like, for themselves. It doesn't really seem like they do. Maybe in old times, but right now there's a spiral at stake. It seems like the Cabal, you know, fights for Old Cobb. It seems like the Order of Light fights for the forces of order, and maybe even, like, you know, positive change, like Bartleby, you know? It seems like there are individuals that do things in this game. It doesn't really seem like, you know, these big people just do things. I don't think they can do that. You know, like, they're gods, literally, right? I mean, the last time that happened, right, it turned out disastrous. The Titans fought each other, and they were put to sleep because they caused so much chaos. So I think what really is going to happen, so we're going to be fighting people who are on every side. So I think it's going to be a 3-way battle between the forces of order, chaos, and change. And I really think that even though I think we're on the side of change, like we're with Bartleby, I really think what we're going to have to do, and we're going to have to make this unreasonable choice, but it has to be made. We're going to have to be on the side of chaos, because without chaos, you cannot have order, and you cannot have the spiral. That's the metaphor that's underlying in all of this. Mallory will fight for Grandmother Raven. I don't think we're going to be fighting Raven. I think that we're going to be fighting Mallory. And I also don't think we're going to be fighting Old Cobb for the reasons I stated earlier. So, if we're playing 2 lies and a truth, what's left is definitely Merle Ambrose. Now, I've looked at all of the ways that this could go through in another video. We've already talked about how Merle Ambrose could be evil. We definitely know that we're going to fight him anyways, in many ways. I mean, there's no guarantee about this, but there was a leak with the red icon. That video is out on my channel. I'll link it in the description along with the interview. I definitely think that it makes the most sense that we're going to be fighting Merle Ambrose for a lot of reasons. For those leaks, for the 2 lies and a truth. But what this does tell us, however, is that we're not going to fight Old Cobb, and we're not going to fight Raven. I think that's the more important conclusion to be drawn from this. I think what's going to happen is that it's going to come down to the wire. Mallory is going to have to make the choice of whether she likes the spiral more than just one Grandmother Raven. We are going to have to make the choice of whether we can side with chaos or we side with the destruction of the spiral. Merle will most probably have to make the decision of whether he's going to have to fight against his most prized pupil. There are going to be hard choices that are going to be made in Empyrea Part 2. And I'm really excited to see a lot of character development. But what I think the underlying theme is, maybe with the exception of Bartleby, higher beings are fickle. They don't care about the lower beings. The Old Cobb causes chaos indiscriminately. Raven wants to end the spiral for the sake of just getting rid of one person. What this really tells us is that the spiral doesn't need these higher beings. It needs individuals to give out the power. So that's why my theory is that it'll be a fight between the most influential individuals in the spiral. And that will definitely be Merle Ambrose. That'll definitely be our wizard. It'll definitely be Mallory. We're going to be fighting for our lives and the spiral. And I definitely think it'll come down to a fair fight, not one between astral beings and mere mortals like ourselves. Tell me, guys, what you think about this theory. This is a very fun theory to make, especially because we're actually going off of information leaked by Kingsisle themselves instead of non-Kingsisle leaks, you know? It's really interesting. As always, these videos only work if you guys talk a lot in the comments below, so let me know what you guys think. I'm very excited to see what your theories are. What do you guys think about the order, chaos, change thing? Do you think the Merle is working for Bartleby just like Mallory's working for Raven, just like we might have to work for Old Cobb? Do you think that makes sense? Do you think that Raven, we might have to fight her? Maybe she's just the new enemy. Do you not agree with? Maybe we just have to fight Old Cobb. Maybe he stabs our back. There are so many possibilities here, and I definitely want to hear a lot of opinions in the chat. So make sure to drop a like and drop a comment. If you're new and you enjoy the video, drop a sub. I'm going to be live streaming Empyrea Part 1 on this channel very soon. I've already gone through a little bit of it. The Empyrea walkthrough is in a playlist on the channel if you want to catch up and then watch the live streams. I don't know, but if somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something wrong. Hope you guys enjoyed this theory, and yeah, y'all stay awesome.